Hello, friends. Welcome to chapel. I'm Father Scott, and it is a great joy to be with you today as we come together to worship God. We will sing songs, we will pray prayers, and we will hear a wonderful story about God's love and God's faithfulness. So let's start out with a song. Now, I don't know how many of you know this song, but I will teach it to you. When I teach it to you, I will sing the first part, and then I will stop, and I hope you'll sing that part back to me. And then I'll sing the next part, and you'll sing that back to me. And so we'll learn through the song, and then we'll sing it through together twice. Once as we learn it together, and once to fix it in place. And in the future weeks, we'll just sing it together all together. So first we need to have our starting note. Here it is. It's an E flat. It's called This Is the Day. Are you ready? I'll sing and then I'll stop and then you sing. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. How did you do? That was pretty easy to learn, don't you think? All right, now let's sing it all together. Are you ready? This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. How did you do? Pretty good? Did you ask Mom and Dad or your brother or sister, whoever's there to sing with you? I hope so. We're going to sing it one more time just to see if we can lock it in our memory. This time we're going to do some clapping. First, we're going to clap our knees. Then we're going to clap our hands. We're going to start by counting to 8 with the claps, and then we'll start singing. Are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. Now, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Good job. That was fun. Okay, now, let me tell you a story. The story happened a very, very long time ago. There was a righteous man. He was righteous. What does that mean, righteous? It means a lot like it sounds. He tried to do all the right things. He loved God, and he tried to always do what God taught him to do and asked him to do. This man's name was Jonah. He lived all the way over here. One day, God said to Jonah, "Jonah, I have a job for you. There is a wonderful city called Nineveh, but the people of Nineveh have lost their way. They have forgotten how to follow the rules that I gave them, and I need you to go and help them to understand how to love me by following the rules that I gave them, which are all for their own good. Well, Jonah had heard about the city of Nineveh, and he had heard that things were pretty bad in Nineveh, and he was scared. He was scared to go to Nineveh because he was afraid that the people there, if he told them that they needed to follow God's rules, would get mad at him and he would get in trouble. So he thought about what God asked him to do, and instead of going to Nineveh, he decided to run away. He would go to a place called Tarshish. He hoped that God wouldn't find him there. So Jonah went down to the seashore at Joppa, and he met a sea captain there, and he asked him if he could get on the boat with the crew and go sailing and do the work on the boat, and if he could do that in exchange for being able to get a ride to go to Tarshish. The sea captain said, "Sure, you can do that." So Jonah got on the boat with the sea captain and all the crew, and they set sail for Tarshish. However, when they were at the sea, the wind started blowing. What is the sound that the wind makes? And when the wind blows the sea, it gets all kinds of rough and waves, and there were waves on the sea, and the boat was tossed to and fro, and water was coming up over the side of the boat, and everybody on the boat was scared because they didn't know what to do. Now, Jonah was asleep downstairs in the boat, and the captain went to see him and said, "Why are you sleeping? Don't you know what's going on? We have terrible wind and waves, and there's a storm on the sea, and our boat, it's going to be capsized. It's going to go down into the water. Well, all our lives will be lost. What will we do? I don't understand why this happened." Jonah started to think, uh-oh, I wonder if God is sending the wind. I wonder if God is upset with me because I didn't go to Nineveh like God asked me to do. The wind continued to blow, and the waves kept tossing the boat. And pretty soon, Jonah said, "It must be my fault. I am going to sacrifice myself so that all of the crew and the ship's captain and the ship can be saved." And Jonah jumped out of the boat and into the sea. And a funny thing happened. As soon as Jonah jumped out of the boat, the water got calm. The wind went away. And it was very quiet on the sea. And the boat sailed off. Now Jonah was in the water. Jonah was sinking down further and further into the water, and he was so scared because he was afraid he would drown. He prayed to God, "God, save me. Help me. I'm your servant. I've always been good. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Help me, God." All of a sudden, in the distance, as he was going down into the sea, in the dark, shadowy water, Jonah saw a big shape coming toward him, moving toward him. He wasn't sure what it was, but all of a sudden, he saw that it was a great big fish, and it had its mouth open, and in went Jonah into the belly of the fish. Oh my. Well, Jonah was okay, but he was inside a fish. A very, very big fish. And he was in that fish for 3 whole days. And while he was in that fish, he did a lot of thinking. I shouldn't have run away from God. I should have stayed. I should have gone to Nineveh just like God asked me to do, but I didn't. Well, 3 days went by, and all of a sudden, the fish came up to the shore and spit out Jonah right onto the seashore. And the fish went away. Jonah was on the seashore. He was okay, but he was shaken. And he heard the voice of God. And God said, Jonah, I love you. You are my servant. You've always obeyed me, but this time you tried to run away when I had an important job for you. I still need you to go to Nineveh. Jonah said, okay, I'll go. Because, Lord, I know you will always be with me, and I can trust you. And so Jonah started out to go to Nineveh. Now that's where our story is going to stop for today. Sometimes we call that a cliffhanger. It means that we have to wait until next week to find out what happens. Will Jonah go to Nineveh? Will he tell the people God's message? And how will they respond? We'll have to wait till next week to find out. I hope you will be with me in chapel next week. All right. Every time we gather together in the church, one of the things we always do is pray together. And there is a prayer that I'll bet you know. And if you know it, I want you to say it with me. And if you don't know it, I hope your parents or your brother or sister or whoever there might be there with you, maybe it's your grandparents, I don't know. Whoever's in chapel here with us today, I hope they'll help you say it, okay? So we can learn it together. The way we pray this prayer is we put our hands together and we bow our head and close our eyes. We do that so we can think about God, because praying is the way we talk to God. And we want to be really focused and think about God. We don't want to think about what we're going to have for lunch or where we're going to play this afternoon. We want to think about the prayer that we're saying to God. So, put your hands together, bow your head, close your eyes, and say the prayer with me if you know it, and if not, we'll learn it together. Ready? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I hope you knew that prayer, and if you don't, I hope you'll learn it. And your parents, or your brother or sister, or your grandparents, or whoever watches chapel with you, maybe they can help you learn it too. It's an important prayer that Jesus taught us. Well, that is our chapel for today. We're going to sing one more song. It's the going out song. It's called Go Now in Peace. Again, if you know it, I want you to sing along. If you don't, we will practice it together next week. The words are real easy. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere we may go. Are you ready? We'll sing it 2 times through. If you don't know it, listen the first time and sing along the second. If you do, sing both times. Are you ready? Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. And the last thing we say before we leave at chapel, we say, Let us go forth in the name of Christ. Thanks be to God. Have a wonderful week, my friends. I look forward to being with you in chapel every week. Take care. Bye-bye.